YouTube, how's it going? The Goat House is back. We're halfway through the 2021 NFL season, and I'm here ranking every starting quarterback from 32 to 1 based on their performance so far this season. So it's not in general. It's not if a new year started. It's not predictions, how they will be, just based on how they played. We're going from 32 to 1. I'm also going to rank top 5 players from each position. We'll probably get to that next week. I'm going to update my playoff predictions later this week. So love doing these kind of mid-season videos. In season, every week, we got constant NFL content, power rankings, all kinds of rankings, predictions, score predictions for every single game. So join us for that. Like, subscribe, turn notifications on. Follow us on Twitter. Link down below for that. Recent videos, I'll put a link down below in the comments for those as well. So appreciate it if you guys can join us for all that. Here's our Twitter, constant NFL updates at GoatHouse NFL. Check us out. So every quarterback, 32 to 1. Based off how they played this year so far. Let's do it. 32 is going to be the Jets rookie quarterback, Zach Wilson. So he's not the starter right now because he's injured. He's trying to fight his way back here. I think he should be back soon unless they want to stick with Mike White. But he's coming in at 32. So unfortunately, well, the good news is these guys are rookies. Some of these guys, they're rookies. And obviously we expect them to get better, and they can get better. But Zach Wilson struggled a little bit. I think mainly, there's been some turnovers. The 4-interception game against the Patriots. I don't really worry too much about the interceptions. It's kind of just poor decisions, throwing off his back foot, off bounce when he doesn't really need to. It's not good. I think we can clean that up. My problem and why maybe he's on the bottom is because kind of the routine throws, the layup throws to continue drives on third down or the start, even if it's on first down, to start the drive. He's consistently missed those, kind of the layup throws. He's got to calm down. He's got to hit those. He's missed too many of those to kind of keep his offense out of the game early. And, a guy like Mike White comes in, even Josh Johnson, and they're hitting those throws, and they're able to continue drives and put up points. So that's where Wilson's really struggled. Offensive line hasn't helped him. He has held the ball a little bit, stepped into some sacks, but so that, doesn't help. He'll continue to grow. He's still got that big play ability. He's got to figure it out on kind of, the layup throws, the easier throws there. Davis Mills at 31. He's had some moments, on the run moments, which we kind of didn't expect. Throws on the run, which looked pretty, at times, but inconsistent, kind of staring down his receivers, starting to turn over the ball a little more. Tyrod Taylor coming back, and he goes in there. I ranked Davis Mills since he's played majority of the games by a wide margin there. Sam Darnold actually started off pretty well. The first few games, and that plays a part too. The first few games, he played pretty solid. I wasn't buying into it yet. It was mainly on the ground how he was running. He was running pretty well, which opened things up, but has really, really struggled recently. And now he's injured, and he won't be starting this upcoming Week 10. It'll be P.J. Walker. But yeah, Darnold, in a big reason, even though he has a couple of those games where he played well that could kind of boost his rank up a little bit, he's really almost single-handedly at times took his teams out of these winnable games. Even Matt Rule mentioned something like that. I don't want to put it all on the quarterback, but we can't just throw the ball up in the air and, give the game away, basically. So that's kind of what's been happening. Just very poor throws, very poor decisions, can't get things going downfield. It's tough, and struggled under pressure too. So he's really taken a step down, throughout so far. It's only been 9 weeks, but throughout the year. Justin Fields at 29. I actually bumped him up a spot, kind of had these rankings ready going into Monday night. Monday night happened, obviously, a couple nights ago. I was pleased with how Justin Fields played. Justin Fields a tough rank. He's a tough rank here because reality is he's kind of been a turnover machine. The touchdown to interception ratio doesn't look great. I'm not worried about the interceptions. If you watch the games, the interceptions, they're not great. They're definitely things that won't continue. I can say that with confidence. They won't really continue. Cam Hayward came up with a ridiculous one. I'm sure Fields can get the ball a little higher. I'm not worried about the interceptions. It's not like he's throwing an insane amount. I think they can cut him down. The fumble is a little concerning. Put the ball on the ground 8 times this year. That's a little concerning. He's got to hang on to the ball. But you see the potential, and I'm confident he's going to continue to grow. I love what I saw in the end of the second half of that Steelers game. And that gave him a little bit boost. At the end of the day, he is turning the ball over a little bit. I'm not basing everything off stats, though. If I was going off stats, he might be last, but the production does matter. It does matter, but I love what I'm seeing from him going forward. but it hasn't all been all that pretty, but you can see he's kind of getting better. I like the idea of him. I'm pretty damn confident he's gonna be good. He's hitting those intermediate throws, the layup throws. He's starting to make the big plays. He's starting to use his legs more. He's starting to get outside the pocket earlier. He's starting to escape the pressure earlier. So good signs here. Good signs. Again, he's been a little sloppy with the turnovers. He hasn't had help with the offensive line, but a lot of quarterbacks don't as well. I like where he's heading, though. But this is where he's at for now based on his play so far. Next group of teams, I ranked Tua Tagovailoa. It's tough because Jacoby Brissett is starting more games, but Tua is their starter. So I decided to rank him. I think people would be asking a lot, where would Tua rank? So I decided to rank him. Brissett started more, but it's pretty close. So I ranked Tua here, and he's at his good moments. He starts games pretty strong, and then it kind of tails off a little bit towards the end, but he's made some good tight window throws. He's getting some plays going downfield a little bit, which we haven't seen last year. Just want to see more of it. He's really got to stay healthy. That's really what it is. And again, he has struggled. He's had some bad turnovers, especially late in games, to kind of flip the script on them allowing comebacks and things. Definitely not all of his fault. It's kind of a team thing there in Miami. But he's at 28 for now. Now he's out. Be Jacoby Brissett. So maybe at the end of the year, if Jacoby Brissett's the starter for majority of the games and he's the starter at the end of the year, when we rank these quarterbacks again, we'll probably rank him if that's the case. But Tua could be back anytime soon. Taylor Heinicke can be at 27. He's made some clutch plays, made some plays with his legs. He's definitely holding on to the ball too long. Some bad turnovers, not turning the ball over, an insane amount. But, it just doesn't seem like he has enough there. Got to get the ball out quicker. That's why I don't like holding the ball too long. Garoppolo, he's had some good plays here and there. I like that they used him on the ground against the Bears a couple weeks ago. He's had some solid drives, but, and he hasn't been, I don't want to call him an accurate quarterback. Him and Jared Goff are pretty much in the same spot. I don't know if I want to call him an accurate quarterback, but they've been fairly accurate. That goes for Jared Goff and Garoppolo. They've been fairly accurate. They just don't have enough. They don't have enough big play. They're not good under pressure. Garoppolo seems to panic even when pressure's not there all of a sudden. That's kind of a new thing. Maybe some injuries. I think it was a new thing last year, actually, when we saw him, kind of right at, he kind of was getting beat up as he's playing, then he was out. And then Goff, he's been kind of accurate. He kind of gets his team down the field, and he's been really struggling in the red zone. He's been struggling big time under pressure, hasn't been able to make the big plays. Wish his receivers were a little better. But Goff and Garoppolo are pretty much the same. They're pretty much the same guy. That Spider-Man meme when they're pointing at each other like they're the same guy. That's kind of what Goff and Garoppolo have been, in my opinion, when making these rankings. They're pretty much in the same boat here. Goff's been doing a good job from what he's had, kind of getting the team down the field. He's got to do a better job in the red zone, though. So I guess that'll be what splits the difference there. Next group, Trevor Lawrence at 24. Started the year off struggling, had some turnovers, and then he kind of got going somewhere in there. I think the Bengals game, which they did kind of blow a comeback in that game, but I thought he got going in that Bengals game. You see those moments, like that's why he was drafted first. Not a whole lot of them, not too consistent, but some of those plays and using his legs were, that's kind of the guy. And I think we saw it the week after that, maybe the week after that. And then it kind of went, Seattle game a couple weeks ago. I don't know what happened. I was expecting a big game there. Bad game from him. Almost they beat the Bills. They only scored 9 points, so they can't get anything going on offense. And then we got hurt in that game. He came back in. But a lot of it seems like he kind of like needs the schemed up plays. He needs those one read plays like from Clemson. Kind of needs his hand held a little bit at times. That's kind of what it feels like. So he has the arm talent and he has the great athleticism, actually, the running ability, the power, the strength. And again, the arm talent, I bring it back up. He has it. He has that wow ability, but he's kind of got to branch out a little bit. So he's at 24. We see the moments, though, the big play moments that there's veteran quarterbacks that we already talked about. They just can't do it. They can't make those plays. Daniel Jones at 23. There's games where Daniel Jones kind of got to be a game manager, and there's games where he has kind of a big game, like, wow, he had that Saints game, a big game, throwing the ball downfield, and there's that game where, he's trying to throw the ball downfield a lot or get a lot of production going, and he kind of turns the ball over too much. So it's kind of everything from Daniel Jones. He's had some bright moments. I guess, more than usual, but he's still got a major turnover problem. He's got production in the air, on the ground, so he's going to rank 23. He's got bigger plays than we're used to seeing him have, so he's actually not at the very bottom like we're used to seeing him, but he's still got those turnovers, just too many damn turnovers from this guy. So he's got to, there's turnover problems across the league, so it's not just Daniel Jones. We ranked a lot of guys with turnover problems already. Big Ben at 22. They're winning right now. I don't really think it's because Big Ben is playing a little better, but yeah, he's been a little sloppy with the ball. Getting plays going downfield here and there, again, a little more recently. He started the year very towards the bottom if we wanted to rank him. Kind of feeling more like, there's some of those short yardage plays, like just kind of going to his check down there. So maybe need a little more here, but he's kind of climbing as they're going on the streak because he started off, towards the bottom. Just not a whole lot from him anymore. And then 21, Jameis Winston, who was playing fairly well. He was pretty inaccurate with the ball, though, a lot. Maybe fortunate he didn't have more turnovers, but he was taking care of the ball, and he did have those big plays, and the Saints seemed like a pretty dangerous team with them. He was getting the ball in the end zone. He's working his team downfield, escaping some pressure as well, making big plays. And again, he cut down on turnovers, so he was looking pretty good. But now he's obviously done for the year. I still ranked him because he's played all of the snaps pretty much for them. Now it's Trevor Siemian with Taysom Hill filling in as well. But Winston was looking pretty solid. Again, he wasn't too accurate. Wish there was some plays where he didn't see a guy open or he missed a guy open to kind of continue to drive. So that's kind of the only knock, is kind of being a little more accurate there. Next group of guys, Jalen Hurts at 20. I haven't been thrilled with the way Hurts has thrown the ball this year. He's been a little off target. The downfield throws is kind of just he's got the power, but kind of just throw it up and hope the guy comes down with it or hope it's pass interference. He's gotten better the last few weeks, though, throwing, though. He's definitely gotten a lot better. See the throw and the run ability. But there's been, it's one of those guys, there's kind of been some layup throws, maybe a little tougher than layups, but kind of just been threw it too far inside, too far outside, kind of those situations. Quite a bit of them. He's gotten a little better throwing the last few weeks. Last week against the Chargers, they lost, but I was impressed. But they're not going to throw him a lot, and there's a reason for that. But you do factor in his running ability. So you may say there's a couple quarterbacks below him right now that have thrown the ball better. I would agree with you. But you factor in the running ability and how he can create with his legs. And again, I think he's been throwing the ball a little better recently. He's been taking care of the ball as well. So that'll give him a boost there. Hurts at 20. Teddy Bridgewater's stats look pretty good. I guess the touchdown interception ratio, I'm not going to base everything off stats, but that's great. He's been an accurate quarterback. He's had some sloppy play, though, some sloppy play here and there. He's probably fortunate he doesn't have more turnovers. But there's kind of just games where you just don't get enough of him. He doesn't go for that big play. He kind of goes to his check down a lot. So it's kind of those. It's kind of what weighing down a little bit. But picking it up last couple of weeks. I know he's playing injured before that, but picking it up a little bit and hitting some downfield throws. He's actually been hitting some downfield throws here the last 2 weeks against Washington, against Dallas. But kind of just need more from him. But again, touchdown interception ratio, if you look at it that way, look pretty solid. Baker Mayfield kind of in the same boat. Just not a whole lot of production. But then kind of he has those big plays here and there, kind of can create with his legs as well. So I do like that about Baker. But yeah, he started the year off pretty strong. But yeah, I think him and Teddy are kind of in the same boat there. Mac Jones, similar area. Mac Jones starting to make a little more big plays. The Patriots allowing him to do that. Been very good under pressure. Been very good, specifically against the blitz, reading the blitz, picking it up. So that stood out to me. Kind of looks like a veteran quarterback when getting hit, actually delivering some accurate balls. Overall accuracy has been the key. He's been very, very accurate. He doesn't have a load of touchdowns. He does have some turnovers, but he's impressed. For a rookie, he's been very accurate with the ball. So that's kind of what gets him up to 17 here. Next group of guys, Ryan Tannehill at 16. The Titans are the hottest team in the AFC, one of the hottest teams in football. Tannehill, I think, took a step down a little bit this year. He's clutch. He makes big plays when they need him to. Kind of end of games, he's been good. Kind of looks like his normal self in the last couple of years. So that's kind of what keeps him in the top 16. But he's had a little bit of sloppy play. The offensive line's usually one of the best in football. It's struggling a little bit this year. And you see him under pressure more often. I think that's kind of makes him struggle a little bit. For some reason, he's not getting out of the pocket, which we're used to him seeing. He's kind of just sitting still, kind of taking on some pressure and then panicking, throwing a bad interception. So that's kind of hurting him a little bit. So puts him 16, where he's kind of lower than where he's been last couple of years. But again, even though the touchdown reception ratio doesn't look good, again, he's been sloppy under pressure. He's been sloppy throwing the ball. he's still making the big plays. He can make the plays on the ground as well. And he seems to, lock it down and make the big plays and clutch plays late in game, third downs, fourth down if they have to go for it, making the right decision. So that kind of what, doesn't push him down a whole lot. Matt Ryan at 15, a little inconsistent. There's moments where I'm like, wow, there's the old Matt Ryan again. And, he started to kind of adapt to being pressured a lot, making big plays, getting the ball out quick. And I like that, but then it kind of goes, then all of a sudden he's getting under pressure. He doesn't really know what to do. He can't escape it. He's taking sacks, some turnovers late in games. So it's kind of been back and forth. I guess similar to Tannehill, but he's been a little better with the ball. See him making that clutch throw to Cordero Patterson at the end of the game last week against the Saints. So, but Matt Ryan at 15 here. Carson Wentz at 14. A lot better than where he's played last year. He has been fortunate. He's thrown a lot of balls to the other team. He's been fortunate. The touchdown interception ratio doesn't look worse than his, but it does look good right now. And he's a little inaccurate. Some throws you expect him to make. You wish the completion percentage was higher. A little better accuracy, but he's made some big plays using his legs as well. I like the last game against the Jets. I thought he had an outstanding game, some tight window throws, some throws that aren't easy. So maybe he's kind of getting there, maybe he's kind of getting going, but he's definitely been better, especially in this system. So he's at 14. Patrick Mahomes 13. Weird seeing him down here. You still see the big playability from Mahomes. You still see him stepping up in the pocket, past the pressure, and making those ridiculous plays that just not many guys can make at all. And you see him use his legs, obviously, throw on the run ability. But then there's been some struggling moments here as well. Since teams kind of been doubling Tyreek Hill more and then getting better coverage on Travis Kelce, putting the ball in the other team's hands and making some sloppy plays. So you've seen that a little bit, but still has that big playability. And it's weird seeing the Chiefs trying to go to kind of the dink and dunk type offense too. It just doesn't suit him that well. But he's at 13. Still has, he's getting ripped a lot. That's because we expect him to be kind of number one, but still has had some good moments here, and he's at 13. Next group of guys, Russell Wilson at 12. Very tough to rank because he's missed a chunk of games. He's playing very well, very accurate with the ball, not turning it over as well. I mean, they were struggling a little bit, though. They were kind of lacking more of the big playability, than the stretch of games, with him. So, it wasn't all that great, but he was playing very well. But him missing games kind of weighed him down a little bit here. If he didn't miss any games, we'll be talking about him towards the top, I'm sure. So I put him at 12. Derek Carr, he's thrown for a lot of yards. He's had some really good moments, too. Some, good balls, some pretty balls here and there. Little inconsistent, though. See him struggle under pressure. Had a bad game against the Giants. Threw 2 picks, pick 6, fumbles at the end of the game. So, and he continues to struggle in the red zone. Throws the ball away a lot in the red zone. Can't make the tight window throws there. Maybe that's why he's kind of lacking the touchdown department. But he's had his highs and lows this year. But I got him at 11. He's thrown for a lot of yards. Kirk Cousins at 10. Kirk Cousins has played very well this year. The Vikings can't win the games, though. I think Kirk Cousins playing the best ball he's played in his career, actually. So, but yeah, he's been very careful with the ball, not turning the ball over. He's, been very good in the passing game, so making some big plays downfield. He's been clutch. Even games the Vikings didn't pull off, he's putting these game-winning drives together almost every single week. So he's been very solid. He's kind of, I guess, got to go out and finish those games. Maybe I know it's not all his fault. The Vikings can't clutch to win games, but maybe looking for some more of that big play. Some of these guys in the top 9, even though Cousins' touchdown reception ratio looks better and clutchness has looked better. Guys in the top 9, consistently putting more of those big plays out there. Joe Burrow will be 9. He's at number 9. Starting to turn the ball over a little bit. Don't like that. Last week against the Browns was not good. But he's been very good. Under pressure, been good. Reading the blitz, picking up the blitz, understanding coverage. You can see it, making those huge plays downfield. So he's been lights. He's been lights out. He's an electrifying quarterback here. But are we starting to head the wrong direction? He probably was higher in this until the last couple weeks. Starting to turn the ball over a little bit. So hopefully he can pick himself back up after the bye here. But I love the big playability, especially downfield. So he was at number 9. Josh Allen at 8. Josh Allen's pretty inconsistent. 1 week we see Josh Allen that, maybe we throw him in the MVP conversation. And then 1 week it's just doesn't seem like Josh Allen. Are teams trying to figure him out or starting to figure him out? Last week against the Jags was a very poor performance from him. I know the play callers didn't really help him out a lot. They weren't running the ball, so it made it predictable passing situations, what put him in a tougher spot. But, didn't handle pressure well, was moving into pressure, and, was off target, making poor decisions. So we've seen kind of back and forth, but we see what he's capable of. Some of those big games, using his legs, through the air, the throw on the run ability. You see him. He still has that play in him. There's games where it's like, all right, that might be the MVP. So that helps him out. It's a little inconsistent. Lamar Jackson at 7. Lamar Jackson's passing stats might not look like the greatest for some. I mean, he's thrown for a lot of yards, more than he's usual. So we know he has that big play ability. He's just been so damn clutch, and you factor in the running ability, just getting his team wins really is what it is. It's just when he needs to take care of the ball, when he needs to make those big plays through the air or on the ground, he does that. So he's really, at times it feels like he's really carrying that team. So he's at 7. Herbert at 6. Herbert had a tough 2 games drought, I guess, against the Ravens and the Patriots. It's tough matchups for him. Still learning how to go against those type of defenses that give unique looks and more man coverage. But other than that, he's been lights out. He's making throws that not too many guys can make. Obviously, the throw on the run ability, using his legs, and putting the ball in some perfect spots. So very accurate, has that big playability downfield. Again, uses the legs as well. Dak Prescott, 5. Came back from injury last week, was a little rusty, it looked like, missing some throws in some crucial situations that really they got beat pretty bad, but there was a lot of those 3rd and 4th downs where he just missed throws you expect him to make. And they could have been, even though they were getting beat pretty bad in that game, if they could have been a lot different to hit those throws. But overall this year he's been very good. He hasn't been crazy productive. Maybe, throwing the ball a ton because the Cowboys have been running the ball a lot, but I don't really he's been great. I don't really factor out how many yards he's had. But he's been fantastic, underrated in terms of reading defense at the line as well. So yeah, rightfully so, kind of sort of been in the MVP conversation here, so he's at 5. We're on the top 4. There's the top 4. I got Aaron Rodgers at 4, and he hasn't had a lot of passing yards. I don't really care. Again, I really don't care about the stats. The production matters, but he's been very accurate with the ball. He makes the big plays, and he's getting his team wins. He's playing very well, and they're starting to run. It's kind of him and Dak are kind of in the same area. Their teams are running the ball more than last year. So it kind of takes away from the passing yards, but they've been playing very, very well, getting wins. You see the Packers with and without Aaron Rodgers as well. So I got him at 4. Matthew Stafford at 3. Got all kinds of production, some big plays, putting up big points. It's very fun to watch. Bad game last week against the Titans. That's kind of now, his stock may be down a little bit off one game. We'll see if we can get it back up. They play the 49ers on Monday night. But, been extremely explosive throwing down the field. That offense has been fun to watch with him. And, again, it's just really a Titans game. Other than that, he's been very accurate with the ball, making those big plays underneath, downfield. And again, been very entertaining. But hopefully, for his sake, we don't see what happened in that Titans game again, because that is kind of weighing him down. Tom Brady, Kyler Murray, such a tight battle there. I got Kyler Murray at 2. I got Tom Brady at 1. Murray missed last week's game, so maybe that affected him a little bit when splitting hairs here between Brady and Murray. But Murray's been fantastic, so fun to watch, escaping the pressure and the balls he's thrown down the field. His accuracy has actually gotten better as the year's gone on. I think the first couple weeks, it was either a big playability, and he was hitting guys wide open, and we'll get to why those guys are wide open. That's credit to Kyler Murray. But or he's kind of trying to fit a tight window throw, and he couldn't do it, and it's kind of picked off. Or deflected, and then all of a sudden he's getting hit in these tight window throws. He's getting more accurate. He's been one of the more accurate quarterbacks in football, so I love to see that. And then that's a big thing too. A lot of these crazy plays where he's scrambling, throwing the run, 80 yards downfield, not really, but close. A lot of those times the guy's been wide open, and you may say, well, they're wide open. Well, first off, not too many guys can make that throw even if they are wide open. But why are they wide open? It's because of Kyler Murray they're wide open. He's buying time all this time, and that nobody can cover forever. Nobody can cover forever. So he is creating separation for his receivers, which plays a big part. It was tough that he missed last game. The Cardinals still won the game, obviously. But definitely in the MVP conversation here. I got Tom Brady, old man Tom Brady at 1. He's been ridiculous. Yeah, he finally had a little bit of a sloppy game against the Saints. Still had a lot of big plays in that game to get his team fighting back. But other than that, he's been ridiculous. I mean, how this guy hasn't lost the arm strength or that touch ball downfield. It's just ridiculous how he hasn't lost it. Like not even a little bit, which is crazy. It makes the pre-snap adjustments better than anybody. We're used to that. It helps that he's a pretty good offensive line, but I think, that offensive line actually struggled a little bit before he got in there. I know they added Tristan Wirfs at the same time, but I think Tom Brady actually makes them a lot better. But spreading the ball around a lot, not just focusing on one spot, not having to stare down one spot, just spreading the ball out. He is the offense. Even though they have electrifying playmakers, Tom Brady is the offense, and he's been incredible. And that offense has been. The defense has been worse, mainly because of injuries. So they're going to have to score. They're going to have to score more points. They have having to do that, and he's been doing that. So he's been ridiculous. It's just crazy that even last year he was ridiculous and he was getting better and he had the big playability. He was starting to turn over the ball a little more sloppy with the ball than we're used to seeing. When you thought maybe we could see that again this year, and maybe against the Saints we saw that, but not too bad. But it hasn't been the case though. It's been even better than last year. So you see, once they get the chemistry and once he kind of creates this offense and gets it going, it's been absurd to watch. So he's off the bye week. We'll see how he does this week against Washington, a rematch of an early playoff game that they squeaked by last year. So I'm looking forward to that. It's really Tom Brady and Kyler Murray at the top. It really is. Stafford was kind of in there. He kind of hurt himself this last week, and we're only nine weeks in, so every game does matter. I'm sure Aaron Rodgers will get his way back up there. He looks even better since with the lack of offense the Packers have had with Jordan Love last week. Aaron Rodgers hasn't really had to have that MVP-like production this year because they've been able to run the ball so effectively, but I'm sure he'll get his way up there. Lamar Jackson, talk about the importance to his team and the all-around play. That's why he's up there. Josh Allen will probably pick it back up. Patrick Mahomes will probably pick it back up. Some guys that look like MVPs at times, guys like Derek Carr, Joe Burrow, really even too, Justin Herbert. Maybe those guys need to stay a little more consistent though. But good players there for the most part this year, been impressive. But those are my quarterback rankings. And again, it's just based. It's not purely off stats. It's not predictions. It's not in general if we were to start a new year. It's just based on how they played this year. So I think it is what it is here for these rankings. And we'll revisit these at the end of the year. I'm also going to rank the top 5 or so players at each position. We do that halfway through the season around there. That we might get that to that next week, so after week 10, because I also want to update my playoff predictions now that we're halfway through the season. So if you subscribe, turn notifications on, you won't miss those videos. We also have weekly content like weekly picks, score predictions, power rankings, rookie power rankings, and a lot more. Insane amount of content here and on our Twitter. Live updates on our Twitter as well. Follow that link down below in the comments, as well as recent videos. You'll find links for those down there as well. So check it out. It'd be much appreciated. Also much appreciated you guys are here watching this video. Thanks for watching. It's going to do it. Goodbye.